Meet the HK P30. It is unquestionably one of the most beautiful looking polymer handguns on the planet. It's been said that the P30's design was fashioned after old unfinished sketches from Leonardo da Vinci found in his study. Okay, I'm lying, but I'd like to think so. I mean, just look at it. Every line and shape come together like a mechanical work of art, perfectly proportioned and over-engineered in typical HK fashion. Almost as if instead of making the P30, they created in some ultra-secret futuristic time machine. Sure, the surfboard size slide lock is way too big. The double action trigger pull requires you to drink a protein shake immediately after you pull it 5 times. And with the money you pay retail for this thing, you could buy 2 MMPs and still have money left over to pay Joe Biden to walk down Southside Chicago unarmed with Chief Keef playing in the background. Much like all Aston Martins, on paper the P30 doesn't excite, but in real life, well, it's something to be experienced. The ergonomics on this gun are simply godlike. The grip texture on the P30 is to the handgun world what 100% cashmere is to the world of sweaters. It's so assuringly comfortable that you just can't let it go. It's impossible to grip this thing wrong. You could replace the side and back panels like a Lego set, yet it all comes together like one piece. The magazine release is a little awkward, but you start to like it after a while. It makes dropping the magazine seem more special than the traditional push-button release. For all intents and purposes, the P30 is a masterpiece. Beauty, quality, and soul. I'll get to the soul part later. But there is just one thing. The trigger. It's like HK made this trigger subpar on purpose. It doesn't make any sense. There's no reset. It's a double action only gun masquerading in double action single action clothing. Does this gun really need to have a mile long take up in single action? Taking out the slack in single action feels like your arm does when you sleep on it and it goes numb. Then there's the reset. There's only an audible reset, but it's so loud you think it's tactile, but it isn't. To be fair, by typical standards, the trigger on the P30 really isn't that bad. But when you're paying AR money for a pistol, you kind of expect the trigger to be phenomenal out of the box. The decocker on the back is one of those things that seem good in theory, but is actually kind of annoying in practice. The exposed hammer seems a bit out of place on a gun so over-engineered, but it's like getting a BMW M6 with the manual transmission versus their SMG auto training. The manual is pure, but I like the cool factor of the SMG, no matter how much it sucks. This gun should be striker fired, but I'll take it as is. Besides the grips, my favorite part of this gun is the slide. If there's anything about this gun that makes it worth the $1 billion price tag with the 2-cent trigger job, it's the attention to detail given to the slide. It's machined to perfection. I mean, there's not a part on the slide that didn't touch. I stated earlier at the beginning of this review that the slide lock was just too big, but ironically enough, I like it. It makes using a gun a lot easier. Well, at least dropping a slide. But I can see how some people might hate it, so I can't really consider it a positive because it is really big. However, I will say one positive about this gun is the fact that it is entirely ambidextrous. I mean, each and every aspect of this gun on the left side looks like it does on the right side, and I can't argue with that because at the end of the day, left-handed people usually get the short end of the stick when it comes to guns. So far, I really like the HK P30. It seems like a great gun. It feels absolutely wonderful in hand. But at the end of the day, it's only saying so much until you actually shoot it. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and put this gun through its paces and then follow this review up with the shooting review of the HK P30. I purposely didn't talk about the sights on the gun because they're aftermarket sights, and I'll go ahead and make that its own review. But in the meantime, the gun so far is good.